So first of all, we were slightly angled off. So when you're throwing your jab, my head is over my opponent's shoulder, my foot is stepping straight between their legs. I'm at my base and I'm stepping into my lead to allow myself to cover the distance between them and me. Here I'm safe, I can't touch them, they can't touch me. Here, effectively I can hit them, but they can also hit me. So when I'm in that range, even if I'm just doing this for fun, I still want to be protected. Okay? When I throw the cross, it's the same step, but now I'm pivoting into that shot. The shoulder's still up, and I've angled off now to this side of the bag. Okay? The cross will give me the uppercut from that side. It's more effective if I step up to deliver the uppercut. So your angle, so predominantly the angle is slightly off, and that's why we do the shoulder touch drill, to give you those angles. So I'm touching my opponent's shoulders to give me those angles that I want. When I'm throwing the shots, I'm using a withdrawal on this side. You want to get to the point in training where you're utilising the reflexes, and the withdrawal reflex is something that was taught to me a long time ago in my training, and it's as though you touch something very hot and you pull back suddenly. And if I touched it with one hand, as I pull back with one hand, the other side extends, and it's a withdrawal reflex and a cross extension reflex. Okay, similarly, if you step on something sharp on the ground and you lift your leg up, the other side is pushing down into the floor. And we get that a lot when we're kicking and the other leg stamps into the floor as we kick. Okay? But it's recognising that within your training and then utilising that within your training. Now we're keeping this very basic for those that just want to do it for fun, but also for people getting into the sport so that they can start a foundation to work on and build upon over the years. So with jab, primarily we're looking at rotation and a little bit of spinal whip with the shoulder folding towards the hip. With the cross, I'll turn sides, we get a lot more spinal whip and a lot more flexion, but also now we're rotating and pushing more through this back foot. So it's the back foot driving the extension at the knee and at the hip of the right leg if I'm punching with my right hand. And then I'm countering by pulling back through the left side. So this is what is talked about, hip rotation or hip snap. And once that's gone, then the spine can play this whipping game where it whips the shot out with a bit of compression through the abdominals. Don't worry too much if you're just training for fun, but if you want to get more into the mechanics of what you're doing, especially if you're going to take this a little bit more seriously and actually compete, then you need to understand what you're doing, especially if you want to be considered a professional in the sport. Okay, so these are the basics of your striking, no matter if it's boxing, Thai boxing or kickboxing or MMA. When we're in our lead to throw our longer shots, our jabs and our crosses, so these are straight arm shots, no matter what angle you choose to deliver them at, they're straight arm shots, they're your longer range shots. When I want to throw my uppercuts and my hooks, I need to step up. And you'll see that most fighters, whatever their background, they will step up in order to be able to deliver the shots most effectively when they're doing their short range shots or their bent arm shots. So the bent arm, your uppercuts, and the uppercuts, the biomechanics of the uppercut is simple. It's the same hip action as a jump or a hop. So effectively that lead body shot, we're driving up, we can lift the heel to generate a bit more force into the shot. So therefore, with your conditioning programs, you'll get carryover from jumps and hops, providing you recognise what they're for, what their purpose is for when it comes to the techniques that you're driving in. And something like a thruster or a reverse lunge thruster, which we use a lot in our basic conditioning programs. Their carryover or their function is to assist the uppercut, but then the uppercut is also tied in the reverse with the cross, okay? Which is where effectively you're going from an extended hip and then you fold back as you throw the cross. Okay, so these are little bits to consider. I'm not going to get too technical on this section. If you do want more, then that's what one-to-ones are for. Okay?